South Africa, and a very warm welcome to you. I'm Jeannie D, and this is Afternoon Express.
And I'm Bonnie Mbuli. Welcome indeed. And also, I hope all you Joburg viewers are surviving the heat wave. But before we get into the show, us at Afternoon Express would like to wish our warmest wishes to Desmond Tutu, our Archbishop, on his 84th birthday.
Yay, happy birthday. He is, I remember the first time I met him, he is one of the most incredible men I've ever met, and comedians. He is so funny.
He is funny.
He gave me a hug, and I was like, thank you so much. He goes, oh no, we can stay here. I was like,
I'd also do that if I were him.
Today in the Loft, we have some incredibly inspiring people, including a woman who has been through so much and has yet still been able to come out shining with a fantastic musical career. Amor Vittone is in the Loft, and she's going to be chatting to us about her past, her present, and her shining future.
And how gorgeous does she look?
I know!
So
She's got legs for days.
I know, right? But we're also giving away not one, but 10 copies of her brand new CD, Dictate Us No. Danilo, you're in the kitchen. What are you cooking?
I almost forgot about him.
Indeed, and welcome South Africa. My name is Danilo Acquisto. In the kitchen today, we're making a delicious dessert. It's raw chocolate and avocado tart. And here to tell us more is none other than Claire Winstanley. Now, Claire, we've made some incredible dishes in the kitchen so far. What makes this one so unique?
Well, let's just put it this way. Chocolate and avocado, quite possibly the strangest combination, but I promise you, it is magical. When you put those two together, it's beautiful, it's creamy, and just so decadent. So decadent, but not guilty.
I'm sold, I'm sold, I'm sold, I'm sold. So there's not as much sugar in this one, so it's one you definitely want to get. AfternoonExpress.co.za is the best website in the world, literally. It has all of these recipes and shopping lists available for you. And today, during the show, if you want to interact with us live, I was in naughty detention or something not too long ago, and you want to keep interacting with us on the show today, Afternoon Chat is our Twitter handle, Facebook Afternoon Express, on Instagram Afternoon Express too. Right now, though, standing by on our couch is my fellow Italian, Amor Vittone.
Thanks, Danilo. Now, having lived one of the most publicised lives in South Africa, from a successful musical career to her marriage with Springbok rugby icon Joos van der Westhuizen, she is no stranger to the limelight or to hardship. Today, at 43, looking 33, as she's a mother of two, she's standing so strong behind her husband's battle with motor neuron disease and working hard on a musical career. Joining us on the couch is Amor Vittone. Welcome.
Thank you. You know what? Thank you so much, because you are so good for my self-confidence today. I'm like, what?
No,
all these
I'm
good things
so
you're talking
pleased
about.
that you're here. I'm so pleased that you're here. Because
Thank
also I've been
you.
reading so much stuff about you, and I thought it's been enough time now. You need to be on our couch.
I mean, I haven't seen you for a long time, and I mean, we always used to bump into one another at all the shows and talk and chat.
And we always used to have
you look amazing.
Such good fun. I mean, I remember being at Kylie's first birthday party.
You did.
She's now 9 years old.
She's 9 years old. She's an avid horse rider. She's just the most athletic little human being, and just my blessing and my angel. And
of course.
Just, yeah, she phoned me this afternoon. She's like, Mommy, what are you doing? Where are you going? Are there tsunamis where you are? Are you going to be okay when you come back? And are you safe?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm fine. And she's so cool.
9 years old, and what are her interests? What does she want to be like her mommy when she's older?
No, you know, I thought when we had her, I thought, okay, she's going to dance like her mommy and do tap and modern or ballet, and she never really was interested in that.
Yeah.
She sings, she writes beautiful songs and lyrics, and she's a horse rider, and she keeps on saying, Mommy, I just want to have my own farm where I can teach horse riding lessons. And she loves animals, and she's an authentic soul, and she loves just the beauty in life.
Beautiful.
And she's such a beautiful little girl.
So sweet. I mean, I remember spending quite a fair deal with your family. And then, like, tragedy struck. I think there was just so much scandal, and your whole life was in the media all the time. I mean, it was sex scandal, sex tape, cheating, sickness, separation. How do you handle your entire life being in the public eye?
Looking back now, I only remember parts.
Yeah.
Because it happened in such an immense, fast time. And I mean, it kind of happened, and we had to move along with it. My son was diagnosed with hearing loss.
Yes.
He then, at the age of 10, got a cochlear implant. So during that time, we were dealing with hearing loss, the scandal, and then, was going through a divorce. Yus got sick. I was recording an album. I literally couldn't record. I couldn't even sing. It was hard for me to get up on stage and really just perform, because I felt like people were judging me because of what was happening and because of the media scrutiny. And, you live your life and people say that, you chose this industry, so you must take the criticism.
No.
And it's, I chose this life because I enjoy music. I love being on stage. I love singing, and I love performing, and it's what I love. But yes, my life is open for people to read about, and I'm very open about that. But when it comes to personal judgments that people make, and when they haven't walked in your shoes, then that makes it hard to deal with. And I think over the years I've kind of learned that you have to appreciate what you have and appreciate the little things, and the blessings that are there for you. And as a woman, I think that you have to appreciate the fact that life is a journey, and certain things happen in your life for reasons. And you might not see the reason in it. But after, you probably, for me, I became a wiser, healthier, better person. I had to go through that dip.
I'm so pleased sitting here with you now, seeing that you've got so much strength of character to push through, because look, it's not an easy thing. And I think a lot of women must be watching thinking, that you are so brave and you've gone through so much, because the fact is a lot of people don't sometimes speak about it. I've been cheated on before. I mean, luckily I wasn't married and I didn't have kids. But I think a lot of women go through it, and it is so painful.
It's painful.
How do
when
you pick up the pieces in your life?
Well, at the time, it's the recognition of what is happening, and then it's kind of, you don't actually know what's happening, because then it was under scrutiny. It was in every magazine front page. My kids would walk with me in the grocery stores, and we'd be shopping, and next to they'd go, "Oh, there's Mommy and Daddy on the cover," and they were little, they didn't understand.
But how do you protect them from that?
One day I did collapse. I collapsed. I remember walking in this grocery store and collapsing, and the owner came with a bunch of flowers and took me to the car, and they had a cab driver take me home, and he said, "Don't even pay for the groceries. We're just with you. It's okay."
There's some angels in the world.
There's so many good things and good people out there that help you. I resulted in so many things. I never understood why people, for example, would result in taking medication or alcohol because they're going through a difficult time. I was like, why would you do that? And until you're in that situation, and because every single day a new journalist would phone and say, "Oh, we heard this and we heard that," and give comment. And
but speaking about that, I do want to know about that, because I did read recently that you had then started using prescription medication. And I think it happens to a lot of people, because you're in that situation. I think it's probably something as easy as, I'm exhausted, I need to cope with this, and then taking a pill. I mean, how does it work? How did it work for you?
Because stress takes over, so your brain shuts down. In my case, my brain shut down, my emotions took over, and all I wanted to do was escape. So my escape was sleeping. So if I slept, I thought that I would wake up better, so I would be able to deal with things in a much easier way.
So you would take sleeping tablets?
Of course, but 1 became 2, became 4, became 10, became a box a day. So of course, and I speak about it openly now. I do motivational talks, and I incorporate my music and my journey, and I talk about it because there are so many women, my friends, women that I speak to, that say that they cannot get off it, and I go, I understand completely. Just be careful that 1 becomes 2, 3, and you become a zombie. So the more you take, the more you want.
You're desensitized, I suppose.
I used to lock my keys away in my fridge and do things that I go, I don't remember that. So when I look back at pictures, I kind of look at them and I go, my eyes were dead, the smile was there, but I was not there. But I had to go through that. And until you realize what you're doing to your body and the harm you're doing to it, and the harm you're doing onto people, that was my way of coping. I was dealing with a child that had a hearing loss. I didn't know what to do and how to deal with it. I didn't know how to accept that even. I was cross with...
So he had 30% hearing, and he went for a cochlear implant.
Yes, doing when the video at the time, and I hate referring to it because, Yus so much wants to get away from that, and, he's built on a new career, and he's done so much good.
Jordan is such a handsome young man
My
as
son.
well. Ooh.
I know, he's hot.
He's hot.
He's hot. I don't want to let him go one day. No, but...
Oh, but he's such a lovely, he's a good heart.
He's such a
Mommy's boy.
beautiful boy. But yes, he had the rotavirus. After the rotavirus, he stopped talking. Couldn't hear him, he couldn't hear me. And during, what I wanted to say was during the video, when the video came out, literally 5 days later, he was diagnosed with hearing loss. So we put him on the hearing aids, progressive hearing loss, and then just became worse, where in grade 3, he was sitting with the facilitator, couldn't hear what they were saying in the classroom, and they had a microphone attached, and we had to make the decision in, you know, getting the cochlear implant. For me, and for a lot of women out there, and men as well, but women, you know, we always think, you know, what are the people going to say? I don't want my kid walking around with an ear, you know what?
Oh,
and you know
shame.
what? I didn't do my research. I didn't know what everything. Now, with a cochlear, it's a little thing that magnets on his head, and he's put a number 7 sticker
for
on, and he
him.
goes, I'm so trendy, I'm Aguero, I'm like a soccer player.
He's
And
a
he
champ.
wears it with pride, and I'm so proud of the fact that he's embraced that.
Exactly.
And I think it's the acceptance stage where you actually have to go, I need help. And when you get to that point, because you can listen to people and they can
course.
say, hey, you must stop doing that and you must stop doing that. And I would have all the excuses in the world.
I'm going to stop you there
Because I could talk forever.
I know, and I love you. But we are going to be back in a little while with a psychologist, actually, who's going to speak to you and help us for those of you who do need to know when that place is that you realise that I need help. So after the break, Danilo's in the kitchen making some raw avo and chocolate tarts, and we continue the conversation with lovely Amor. Remember, if you have any other questions, then call us on 083 913 3728. We'll be right back after this.
Get 15% off with W Rewards when you pay with your Woolies card. Get the card, get the rewards.
Welcome back, South Africa, to Afternoon Express. Now, it is the middle of the week. It's a hump day, and I'm sure you need something delicious to get you through the rest of the week and into the weekend. So today, myself and Claire Winstanley are going to be making a delicious raw chocolate and avocado tart. And now, why are you giggling at me?
Because you said my name right.
Cool. She was dissing me earlier before because apparently in the beginning I was thinking of something else, and I kind of finished her sentence with Claire Winston. So
Silent Y.
we're making a tart today, which should be lovely. So where do we get started?
It's sweet and guilt-free. It really is guilt-free.
Amazing.
Raw in the sense that nothing's cooked. I know that sounds silly to actually explain that, but nothing's cooked.
Yay.
So, I'm not a raw expert. There are some fabulous cook chefs. I know it sounds funny to say cook.
Yeah.
But people out there who make delicious raw
dishes.
food. And typically it doesn't what constitutes raw is not taken above 46 to 48 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
So the only thing here generating heat is actually the food processor.
Okay, which doesn't generate much more than like 35.
Oh, I don't even think we're going anywhere near there.
How to take you off your feet. Okay.
Okay, so we just blitzed up some almonds, some raw almonds.
How many? Just a packet?
A packet, about 100 grams.
Cool.
You can chuck in the dates, so that's going to give the sweetness and the sort of stickiness to the tart base. That's going to help kind of combine it and bring it all together. So typically you would, in your normal pastry base, you would have an egg, something of that sort. That's going to kind of glue it all together. So we've got the dates, so it's going to go in there. Coconut, beautiful flavour, stunning richness and depth in terms of that like nuttiness as well. And then something delicious that Woolworths has just launched is maple, vanilla and chocolate grind.
Oh,
you think,
this is on top of like your cappuccino or
when
something.
When I
nice.
first saw this, I was like, what am I actually going to do with this? But there are so many stunning things that you can do with this. Grind it straight into here, like you say, on top of your cappuccinos, onto any kind of sweet thing. Just add a little bit of sweetness and
So what are these? Is this chocolate, cinnamon and?
Maple.
Oh, yum.
And there's actually a little bit of cardamom in there as well, so a little bit of spiciness, which is stunning. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, very technical. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 grinds. That's officially the recipe.
Okay.
And then some coconut oil.
Okay.
This is also going to just glue it all together and just complement the actual desiccated coconut that we've added in here, and just a little bit of liquid to kind of tighten it all up and bring it together as our
Something's
top.
going to be liquid, otherwise everything else here is just solids.
And then we're just going to blitz this together, and the dates slowly kind of combine with the rest of the ingredients, create
They
that
become mushy and
glue that I was
gooey
talking about, and it starts to form a little bit of a ball, bally kind of appearance, and that's when it's ready to press into our tart tins, which we have greased. You need to grease it. It does get quite sticky. It's not something that's going to bake and just pop out. It does stick. So grease it very well, and then, if possible, use something that's got one of these...
A pop-out bottom.
A pop-out bottom.
Yeah,
So
which
you
always
can...
helps.
So
I think all of them do.
out.
Most tart dishes will always have that, because otherwise it's impossible to get them out.
And then worst case scenario, if it's still sticking, you're going to get this into the fridge and it's going to kind of harden up a little bit. But what's hardening up is actually the coconut oils going from liquid to solid. Take a blowtorch and just blowtorch the outside just a little bit. Warm it up and it'll release. So
like that
that's
idea.
that's it. And now we're just I'm going to ask you to help me just kind of create little, you can see kind of smooshes
Globules.
together like that. I know I'm making a big mess, but my hands are clean, and it's
So
not.
am I.
Once it can kind of smoosh together like that, it's perfect for a tart base.
It's a bit of a messy one to make, which is nice.
No, I mean,
now what am I doing this
everyone
for?
can get involved. No, go for it.
Oh,
You
we're
need
all
quite a
just
bit.
putting our bits
Yeah.
in there. Okay, I see. So you're just showing us what texture should be.
Yeah, so then you just push, 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 and it's going to be rustic. It's going to be a bit, you know...
DIY, it's fine. I
DIY-ish,
see
but
yours
like-
aren't very neat, but
like-
that's okay.
So
They
rude.
taste good.
I'll take it as a compliment, because like I said, rustic. I achieved it.
It's
Ta-da.
raw.
So everyone can get involved, and you just squish that all together. Looks like
Ooh, it
that,
smells
and then
amazing.
that goes into the fridge, just until it's hard. And then you take it out, and it's
Ready
ready
to make
to
your
fill.
filling. Okay, so we'll show you how to make all of these fillings a little bit later on in the show. And afternoonexpress.co.za is that perfect website. You can go and find the recipe, all the ingredients. If you want to cook along with us, you're welcome to do that too. Like I said, later on we're making the filling with avocado and raw chocolate. I'm guessing there's no sugar involved in that, no added sugar, right?
There's beautiful raw honey.
Oh, lovely. Well, right now, standing by on the couch, we're back to the conversation with Amor Vittone.
Thanks so much, Danilo. So we're back on the couch with the fantastically glamorous Amor Vittone. I want to know, what's your relationship with Joost like now?
Well, we are separated. We live in different homes. It's been like that for the past 5 years
You didn't
now.
divorce him and you chose to stay because of
No,
supporting your
a
children.
lot of people got it wrong. He actually divorced me. He divorced me for some reason. He thought that, obviously, he thought that maybe I was going to do it first. But, I mean, let bygones be bygones. And, you know, bottom line is I chose to stay in the separated relationship because of the kids. And I chose to stay because he is sick. So that was the point. And also at the end of the day, you know, no matter what goes on in life, you have to move on. You have to try and forgive and move on. You might not forget. And there will always be the recurrences of that remembrance, but the freeing feeling of actually getting past that and saying, I'm better, I'm bigger than the situation, I can actually move on. I'm priceless. No one can put a price on me. You
How
know,
do
I
you
have
let
to
go of that little bit of anger maybe in the back? Because I
You
think I
know,
would be
You have
bitter.
to.
I mean, I would be angry.
Because
honestly
you need to become a better mother as well. Because I mean, if you
Absolutely.
hold on to that, it actually drains you.
And
of all the
kids
energy you
feed
have.
on your energy, and my
course.
kids are very sensitive to
Do
how
they
mommy
understand what's
feels.
going on?
Of course they do. I've been very open about
Yeah.
it. But to be honest with you, and maybe it might sound corny, but I had to go through the process to understand where I needed to get. And I found that, I promise you, through prayer made the difference. The silent times that I took out and still take, the blessings that I write down. I have a blessing book that I write down every day, the blessings that I'm grateful for in my gratitude list. And I've put it all in a jar, so by the end of the year I want to take that gratitude box or jar, pour it out and say, this is what I'm grateful for, because you always want something that you can't have instead of appreciating things that you have. So yes, you go through difficult times, but my goodness, I have 2 beautiful kids who have pulled me through the situation, and including my parents. You know,
Your parents have
my
been very
parents have
close
been
to you.
very supportive, so I'm very lucky to have them with me still in this day and age. My father's Italiano, so he's going to fight for his family.
I have to
And
ask.
it's so heartwarming that you guys still have supper together.
Yes, we do.
I mean, that's incredible for the kids.
Well, my Jordan is very hard-headed when it comes to that. He's like, Mommy, I love you so much. You know, men are manipulative. Sorry, man. Men are manipulative. They're like, Mommy, can I just take my tray to... I'm just watching Liverpool on TV. Is that okay? But I love you so much. And then he takes his tray and he said, we often like eat together and we love... You know, I'm very casual when it comes to that. I'm not a very strict kind of routine time kind of mother. And because I am a fairly single mother, I run around with my kids every afternoon. I don't have an au pair, I don't have a driver, I don't have people. I want to do it with my kids. I want to experience that time. I sit with my remedial child every single day, do comprehension. I do the math with him. If he doesn't understand, I dance on the tables and I explain things in visual form for him.
Yeah.
And when he comes back after school and he says, Mommy, I got 97%, the tears just roll. And as a parent, it's kind of, that's the most heartwarming gift that you can give is time. To your kids. And I want to do that, and through my music and my performances and everything, I've always maintained that my kids and my family come first. That's foremost. And so now I just need to get back into the mode of performing again, and doing my thing. But my kids
And
are
how
there.
do you balance that without help? The career, the music,
I have a lady,
being a hands-on mom.
Yeah, I have a lady at home who knows the routine, that, you know, what happens. She helps me with cooking, although I love to cook myself, or, you know, I cook very simply at home. My kids don't like elaborate meals, so that's very quick. I often take them to gym with me. I take their homework with me, because you know, if I don't gym and if I don't train every day, I become miserable, and that's just a part of who I am. And I always say to ladies, I say to ladies, if you want your estrogen, your hormones to kick, darling, you've got to go train, even if it means walking for 10 minutes a day, just admiring the beauty in the nature and birds singing, but be active, just get the hormone going. So I'll take my kids, they do their homework. There, they do spellathon and athletics on the computers. At the gym, they do their thing, and then we often have supper there. It works out cheaper because then I just like, and then I sit there and read, and we do the rest at home. So I kind of, they've always been involved in my work. I've always taken them with me to shows, and they're very adaptable.
Of course. And now we have a new album. I mean, that must have been incredibly cathartic for you to put your emotion and your journey now into a new record.
It was therapeutic. A lot of people have said, so why haven't you written a book? Because everyone goes through like, I'm going to write a book. But I wrote songs, and I wrote with Connell Cruz. I wrote with big names in the industry, collaborations. And for the first time, I actually wrote an album that is completely me and my journey that I've gone through. And it's an album, I always say it's an album for women, because it is so more, because it's about, I don't need you, kind of get out of my life kind of song is in there. Then there's a love song, there's a song for my kids. There's just a collaboration of good, wholesome, adult contemporary songs. Afrikaans, Bicky Engels, the English song is You Don't Know Me. Kind of like, it's just getting your power back. It's kind of saying, you know, I kind of wanted to mount it on the Kelly Clarkson, What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger.
Oh,
so
brilliant.
Spreme Flerke went to #1 on radio stations, which was like,
What is that, Spreading My Wings?
Spreading my wings. And so Connell says, Spreme Flerke. Spreme Flerke. So it's called It Takes a Snow.
Do you find that after having your life so much in the media and so many people knowing so much about you, and you know you don't even know them, do you find that you've become more protective of your space and of your children's space?
I have. I must say, I don't read comments anymore. I used to on Facebook, for example, read the comments.
Don't read comments.
I don't read comments.
No, don't even read something on Twitter and she'll go, oh, this person's so whack. And I'm like, don't read it.
But can I tell you something?
Because they at you, they tag you.
But let me tell you something.
read it.
Tagging.
You know what? The human being is just made up like this. You will get 100 beautiful messages, and then there will be that one that will destroy you. And you know what? You actually have to learn to go, I know who I am. I put this out there with a positive meaning. I put it out there because I really wanted to share this with love to my fans and my people, my friends, you know. And whichever way they perceive, it's their perception, it's their environment, it's their emotion, it's what they, it's their insecurity that probably is coming out in a negative form. You know, if you can't say something good about someone, then rather shut up. That's what I've always learned.
Somebody like gave me some really amazing advice once. They said, don't get too excited when people praise you and compliment you, because you'll go as low down when they're not happy with you.
Absolutely.
So you've got to find a way of staying in the middle and just taking it in your
And you know,
stride.
it's so important. There's a saying that says you have to do it by yourself, but you can't do it alone. So you have to, for example, in my case, in terms of doing your album, and you know, working on TV shows, you have an immense amount of people that make a show work. But you have to do it by yourself, but you can't do it without people. And you can't do it, I can't do it with my,
I love that quote.
with my higher power and my kids and my energies.
Love you.
So just don't read the comments.
If you want to get your hands on a copy of Amor's new album, Dictate Us No, then you're in luck, because today we're giving away 10 copies of the album to 10 lucky viewers. Simply SMS the word EXPRESS, your name and city to 33728. Entries close at the end of today's show. So SMS costs R1.50. Terms and conditions do apply and are available on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za.
And I'll sign them.
And Amor is going to be signing them.
Yeah.
After the break, we're joined by a psychologist to chat about how easily stress and trauma can lead to medication abuse. We'll be right back.
Surrender to indulgence. Which will you give into first? Creation from the Lindt Master Chocolatier.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express South Africa. So we're making a delicious raw chocolate and avocado tart right here in the kitchen with Claire. And we've already made the base for you made out of ground almonds. There's some coconut thrown inside there.
Coconut oil, a bit of dates, and some of this delicious ground.
This is why we have you. All right, now we're making the filling with this tart, which I suppose is the little bit more complicated side of it.
No, it's not.
Oh, is it the simpler side? Amazing.
Super, both. Really easy. It's just blitzing it up.
Okay.
And, you know, if you don't have a food processor, don't fear.
Yes.
You're going to be doing a lot of chopping, you're going to be a lot of pestle mortar grinding, that sort of thing.
So you can DIY these things as you go.
This is just going to make your life so simple,
much easier.
but you can go for it. Okay.
So just to take it one step back. So these bases have gone into the fridge and they've cooled down for a little bit just to make sure that they're solid.
They've chilled so that the coconut oil just sort of hardens up and comes to sort of a solid form. And it just to make sure it's nice and stiff. You can't actually leave these tarts lying out and about, like in the sun or out on your veranda or patio.
With their heat waves and
no,
going on,
you need to keep them refrigerated and nice and cold.
Cool.
So we've got our avos, about 2 avos in here. You're really probably aiming for about half avo per tart.
Cool.
Now comes the cool part, the chocolate. So in goes
That's not chocolate.
our cocoa.
Okay, so it's cocoa. There's a difference, okay? One is sweet and yummy, the other one is bitter but also awesome.
Well, I mean, in terms of this melting chocolate, you're going to have to keep the temperature too high, so you're not going to get that rawness. Do you want to give this a good...
Let's...
This is where the creaminess is going to come in. We're just going to...
Oh, it smokes even. That's cool. Imagine breathing that in.
There we go.
It's like chocolate air.
Okay, let's just scrape down.
Oh, I see. It's like an icing.
Yeah, it does almost. Then we're going to add, do you want to hold on to that?
Sure.
We're going to add a little bit more coconut oil just to kind of juice it up a little bit.
Cool. Also get that essence into this, not only in the base.
Then comes the sweetness, which is our raw honey. So raw in the fact that it's not heated to any other temperatures besides the natural temperature of the hive.
And honey's got so many health benefits for you as well. So really great alternatives, I think, all the sugary chocolates that you're going to be putting in your usual tarts.
And the combination of the avo and the chocolate, really the cocoa powder overpowers effectively the avo flavor. So what the avo does is just give you that creaminess.
Yes, exactly. So it almost acts like a liquefier. Cool. That goes in like that, and that. Okay.
Here we go. Let me help you out here. Wait, hold on. This
Yeah.
way. Here we go.
That's all we have
like
to again.
Like I'm in the kitchen. Okay.
So I clearly don't have one of these at home, so I'm the guy who's the pestle and mortar. This is why I don't ever get involved with baking. Too much.
Okay, that's what we're looking for.
Oh, it smells raw.
It smells raw.
That's even a thing.
It
doesn't smell like normal chocolate. It smells
Well,
nice.
it doesn't smell like... I'm going to humour you on this and say it doesn't smell like that sort of caramelized...
That's it.
There we go.
That's exactly what I was thinking the entire time.
Okay, I'm going to give that to you and you can spoon it into there. What you can do as well is pass it through a sieve into a bowl, and then you get rid of any sort of stringiness that you might have in the avo and any sort of lumps that occur. And then we just start decorating it.
Cool. I see you were giving me the side eye because I kind of broke the tip off one of your little bases
I was like,
here.
wait, where did that come
Sorry.
from? Just sort of smush it in here, make it look all kinds of pretty.
No, I think I might have been a bit generous on one of them, but oh well.
No, that's fine. Well, we've got more avos. We'll make some more up.
Cool.
We just sprinkle this on, nothing special. And then just for prettiness, some beautiful edible flowers.
Yum.
Because it looks stunning. And then again, some of this delicious grind over the top of this. Some more chocolate, more maple, more vanilla. And then
The
Ooh, I
messier,
just
the better
got
it
some
seems.
honey all over you.
I'm sweet as it is. I'm sweet enough, okay?
And then some more honey just drizzled over the top
Oh,
here.
that looks
so
so
we'll finish that one
delicious.
up, but that's, you get the idea on those two.
You're a typical food stylist, you know. Not only like are you taking it for flavour, you're also just pouring it everywhere so that the photograph looks awesome. If you guys want to make this recipe at home, afternoonexpress.co.za is where you can find it, download it, and make sure that if you do have a grandma who wants it, print it out for her and make sure it goes into her big file of awesome, awesome recipes. Claire, high five. Well done.
Sticky high five.
Ew. Back to the couch as we discuss depression.
Now, when faced with stress and trauma, or when we are in a phase of depression, we often turn to alternative coping methods. One such a destructive mechanism is the abuse of subscription or even over-the-counter medicine, something that can happen more easily and quicker than we think. With us is psychologist Abram LaRue to explain more. Welcome to the Loft.
Thank you very
much. And of course, beautiful Amor is still with us.
I'm here for your support.
When sleeping tablets or calming medicines are prescribed, what is the purpose and for how long are they usually prescribed for?
Well, usually it is for people to just get over that kind of crisis for that moment. So because a lot of these medications should not be used for a long term. It depends obviously on what kind of medication you are using. But what is quite interesting is that in the development of neuroscience lately, we start understanding addiction much, much better. Mm-hmm. And just to give you a little bit of a kind of a rundown, it is, we know that there's a reptilian brain with a mammal brain, and then there's a neocortex over that. So there's 3 layers. But that middle mammalian brain is now what is really, really interesting, because we see that within that, that's where the emotional regulation takes place. That means that we want to stay balanced. Like, and as you said, that when you had this kind of enormous onslaught on you, it really throws you off kilter. Yeah. And then immediately there's this instinct like, I really want to get my balance back. And then we start looking for things around us. And then what's quite interesting is then we start looking at upregulation, anything that the body can do, like what you eat, what you drink, medication, or what comes down. And that, like, downregulation is anything to do with the mind. Like a good book you read, therapy, you refer to prayer. All of those kind of things help to get us to the middle. And these medications is in extreme kind of circumstances where we can't get that regulation correct ourselves, we can use the medication just to help the person to get to the middle. But then you can overshoot.
And then at what point does it then become an addiction?
Well, it depends on the medication, but like the biggest problem is that people start medicating themselves. So they think, oh, this is working. I mean, like a woman I heard the other day, she said like, oh, this is a really 3 beta block a day. So you can see, like, I'm really stressed, so I'm going to actually pop the pills.
Yeah.
And you know that, like, there's always
Absolutely.
a kind of a reason why I should rather take 2 or 3 pills tonight.
Because you think, maybe I only have 6 hours of sleep. So you go, let me take 3 instead of 1, because then I'll fall asleep quicker.
Yes, yeah.
So you take 3, and then the next night you go, I'm going to start taking 2 now, not 3. And then you go, but it's only for tomorrow night. But it's only 4.
Yeah.
That's what you start telling yourself.
Do you think a lot of people don't realise how bad prescription medication actually is? Because I just think, oh, the doctor gave it to me, it's fine, I'm just going to, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that people like to be in denial for that.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is you know, you were also saying that I was not thinking. Is that people actually don't think. And that's another thing that became very interesting. They saw that if these emotional, that middle part of our brain gets too stressed, like, then it spikes. And that means it takes the thinking part offline. So it's like a trip switch. You actually don't think.
You want to
And
check
you just
out.
do that.
You don't want to be present.
Because there's certain times as well, if I may shoot in, is that when I was addicted to it, there was a certain period of time that I don't even remember. My mom will say, do you remember that and that? And I go, did that happen? Didn't that happen last year? No, it happened 5 years ago. So it kind of, you lose time, you lose track of time, you lose track of where you are, you lose track of memory. Memory
so
loss
scary.
is a huge thing.
Yeah.
Memory
It's so
loss.
scary.
You physically don't think.
Yeah.
And that's why you just start doing. And then there's that critical point where, and it differs for all of us, is where suddenly the medication gets a life of its own. And then your body starts interpreting, this is something I must have.
And it owns
And
you.
then you lose
Yeah.
control.
Yeah.
And then actually there's nothing you can do. Even if your thinking cap comes back on. You've lost it.
Why are these medications so readily available over the counter?
Well, hopefully, like the ones that creates these addictions would not be that readily available. People get ways of getting them, but the higher your schedule go up, obviously, the more potentially addictive they are.
Yeah.
So they're trying to regulate it in a way to make it not that available. But you know, sometimes, and I see that a lot of time, like in a moment of crisis, or when people, for example, have operations, then they get hectic pain medications, and they think like, oh, I like this. Because it really works well. And then they find other ways of prolonging it.
Shame. How are people then able to reel it in and then stop that addiction? And if anyone out there knows somebody who is addicted to a prescribed medicine, how can we help them?
Yeah.
Well, I think that, like when I was listening to your story as well, I think the biggest problem is that people almost like try to get away from it. So the person that is addicted tries to prolong it.
I fell ill. I actually went into hospital 5 times. By the 5th time, I was lying on the floor, fell down the stairs, didn't even know what I was doing. And I was in hospital. I woke up and they said, we resuscitated you, you were dead. So you literally get to that point. Yes, and that's when, and you know, you kind of get to that point where you go, was I that bad? Was it? You know, and everyone was telling me. My parents were constantly saying, "We want to help you," and I could see the pain that you put your family members and your people through, and then you have to, like I say, no one can help you unless you want to help yourself.
Unless you're desperate to get out of that situation.
Yeah, and it's incredibly important to know that the person that's in it actually has lost control, and that we shouldn't be judgmental. We should actually respond with empathy and care, and then actually move in, and also make sure that, because the people would underplay their use.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't have...
How many boxes do you mean?
Thank you so much for chatting to us. Thank you so much. You've been a fantastic, fantastic help. I'm sure there's people out there that have now learned more.
For sure. And if you're a pet lover, then stay right where you are, because after the break, we share some useful pet nutrition advice, and we have a competition to announce as well. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
The #1 choice of skincare professionals worldwide.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. We now turn our attention to our furry friends. In 1892, a 25-year-old man called Bob Martin invented a conditioning powder for dogs. Over the 100-plus years that followed, he grew the name into an internationally successful company, which has gone from strength to strength and has developed various other products for cats and dogs. Today, we take a look at the history of Bob Martin and the evolution of their range of products which keep our pets happy and healthy.
Everybody knows the name Bob Martin. For over a century, it has been part of keeping our pets happy and healthy. With their range of food, conditioning tablets, grooming products, and healthcare products, our pets look and feel their best. But have you ever wondered about the man behind the name? Back in 1892, a then 25-year-old Bob Martin was working for a local vet. With his great interest in basic healthcare for dogs, he started conducting research and invented a conditioning powder for dogs. The powder was intended to supplement the poor diet of many dogs at the time and to ensure that every pet could be kept in peak condition. The powder was a hit at dog shows and sold quickly. Bob single-handedly created the pet healthcare industry with just one product. His son, Robert, eventually took over the family business and expanded the range, as well as including new products for cats. Then came the Second World War, and surprisingly, the Bob Martin factory played a crucial role in the war effort. All production of pet products was halted, and it's said that the water purification tablets made in the factory saved more lives than any other weapon of defense. Post-war, the beloved name of Bob Martin once again continued to produce conditioning and healthcare products for pets around the world. The company remains a privately owned family firm to this day, and millions of pet owners know the name of Bob Martin to be synonymous with shiny coats, wagging tails, and happy pets.
Show them how much you love them with Bob Martin.
On the couch now with us is Dr. Verini Naidu, a veterinarian from a veterinarian hospital, to discuss the importance of good health nutrition in our pets. So, Dr. Verini, very warm welcome to Afternoon Express.
Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. So, dogs are something that I think a lot of people grow huge bonds with. And when that happens, you tend to get lazy with them and you feed them all sorts of things to make them happy. What are some of the things that we're experiencing with our pets at the moment in terms of nutrition?
Okay, so Danilo, we're going into the festive season. One of the things we need to avoid are feeding rich fatty foods, especially after a Christmas meal. We see a lot of gastrointestinal upsets and pancreatitis the day after Christmas, usually due to that. One of the other things we see are toxicities with xylitol. You know, if you're using it as a sweetener in your treats, don't feed that to your pets. It's toxic. There are a few other things you'd want to tell your children about. Don't always treat what you're eating. You know, chocolates, we know, grapes, raisins, macadamia nuts, apple pips, avocados. The list goes on. So if you are worried, I'd say avoid it.
Avoid it completely.
Absolutely.
So let's take this a step back. If you were to get a new pet into the family, or you have a pet, what are some of the regular things we should be doing with our animals to make sure that they're happy and healthy?
Okay, so you want to bond with that animal. If you're getting a puppy or an adult cat or dog, you want to take a little bit of time off so you have time to spend and get them acclimatized to their new environment. You know, they're going to be away from their old home. They might be nervous. There might be new animals that they need to get used to. So just spending a bit of time with them is usually the best thing. If they're responsive to treats, it always works well. So you can always portion a bit of their daily food into treats so that they have something to look forward to.
I see. So treat doesn't have to be something that is unhealthy for them. It can be
absolutely.
part of the diet.
It can be part of their diet. Their treats available. You can feed a bit of your food. You could feed a bit of apple or carrot if you wanted to do something healthy, if you have a healthy dog that likes it.
I don't think my dogs will ever want to eat some carrots.
Usually a tiny bit of cheese goes a long way. Or you could just feed their regular food and just portion it out as a treat. Always works well. You just want to get that animal used to knowing that that is his or her new home and just getting used to the people around them. And not only
is it good for the animal, I think it's also good for us because it makes their coat nice and shiny and healthy, which means it's nicer to stroke. But it is very good for them too.
It is, and it's, you know, it's important to bond with them. I think one of the things we just need to be careful about is over-treating, overfeeding. Obesity can be a big issue.
Yes.
So
we tend to think, no, he's a cute little chubby little dog. He's part of our family. We love him. It's not healthy.
No, it's not healthy. I think your veterinarian will advise you when you do your annual vaccinations, always do a weigh-in. If you're concerned, bring it up with your vet. They're usually going to advise you if they think that Spotty's picking up a bit of a weight. So
Spotty's becoming blobby, something like that.
I don't think your vet will tell you that, luckily. So
they'll be kind.
They'll be very kind, and they'll have things you can do to prevent that. So.
Awesome. Dr. Naidu, any final tips for viewers at home in terms of looking after our animals? We've spoken a bit about making sure we feed them the right dishes, but what about bones and table food?
Okay, so again with table food, if you're not sure that that's perhaps too high in salt or too rich and you're not sure if that's a toxic food, I'd say avoid it. We get to know our pets and we know what they like, what they don't. So I think it becomes a personal choice as well.
Awesome.
Avoid the toxic foods, avoid the rich foods.
Amazing. Dr. Naidu, you're such a legend. Thank you so much for joining us on the couch today.
Thank you, Danilo.
Hope to see more happy and healthy dogs out there. Well, South Africa, if you want to win with us right here on Afternoon Express, we've got a brand new competition. We're giving away a Bob Martin hamper valued at 500 Rand to one lucky viewer. All you have to do right now is SMS the keyword Bob Martin, your name and city to 33728. Those SMSs will cost you R1.50, and those T's and C's do apply and are available on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. But for now, it's time for us to check out with Bonnie as she's checking out some good things with tea, I think, in the garden.
Welcome to our Fresh Pack Natural Goodness series. We've spoken a lot recently about the importance of hydration in children. We have our doctor in the loft again today to tell us how we can ensure that our children are well hydrated. Welcome, Dr. Shimenshin.
Thank you. Thank you.
Why is it important for us to hydrate our children?
Hydration is such an important thing in the body. All your metabolic processes actually require water in order to function properly. Now, with babies specifically, they have a higher rate of metabolism than children, or adults rather, purely because of their surface area to body weight ratio. The other conundrums when it comes to children and babies is the fact that they can't actually access the water. If we wanted water, we can just go run a tap and then have some. With children, they often can't access it. Lastly, with children, their thirst center in their brains, the part of the brain that tells you, okay, I'm thirsty, I'm going to go grab something to drink, it's poorly developed. Because it's still developing, yeah. So oftentimes they don't realize that they're getting dehydrated, and that they're thirsty,
Wow, that's incredible. I did not know that. and as a mom, I should know that, right?
Yeah, well, now you know. Now you know.
Well, what are some of the ways that we can help hydrate our children at home?
Well, from birth to 6 months, breast milk is good enough. You don't have to give any additives or supplements in order to supplement the breast milk. Thereafter, it gets a little bit tricky because as the baby gets a little bit older, their water requirements start increasing. So roughly from about 7 months onwards, well, 6 months to 12 months, 800 mils to about a liter should be fine.
Yeah.
But the important thing is to start instituting good hydration habits. So you offer the child, baby, something to drink more regularly.
Right. And it goes without saying that if you're breastfeeding, then you should increase your water intake as well.
Yes, definitely, because you're actually giving off a lot of fluids to the baby, so you yourself would need a lot of fluids.
Right.
Yeah.
And what can we offer our children to drink?
Water is brilliant. Water is brilliant, and it's a nice way of instituting good habits. However, a better thing would be instituting something like rooibos. Rooibos is better than water because it has minerals in it, it has antioxidants in it, it's sugar-free and it's caffeine-free. And it tastes quite nice, if I do say so myself. Yeah, and kids love it. So it's a nice way of instituting a healthy form of hydration to the child.
Because you're getting the water, but then you're getting all these added ingredients.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We always learn so much from you, Doctor.
Thanks.
And you know that Fresh Pack Junior and Baby is specially developed for children and babies, so it's a safe, healthy option. Thank you to our doctor for this valuable advice. And remember, if you think your child is severely dehydrated, seek medical attention immediately. Well, that's it from us. Until next week, keep well with the natural goodness of Fresh Pack.
Fresh Pack. Goodness comes naturally.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. And of course, we have the fantastic Amor Vittone with us today in our loft. And the first thing that happened when Amor saw Claire when Stanley was like, I don't trust a skinny chick.
So no, but she's gorgeous and she can cook.
And she's smart.
And beautiful.
She's got a great personality. And then Danilo, you said no one can measure up. You can't date
like every girl that's tried to approach me ever since has been like, I can't compare to Claire, I'm done. I'm out. Finished, done and dusted.
But she is taken.
It's true.
Done, boy.
Amor, I have to ask you, sorry, I know we're going to get into the serious stuff now. You can cut up those things, but...
Why, just because you're Italiano,
eh?
Sì, molto bene.
And Jeannie's going straight for the dessert. I see you. But I'm very interested to know, we've spoken quite a lot, I've listened to your conversation, speak quite a lot about some of the struggles you've been going through, but the glory days of dating a famous rugby player...
Oh, yes. You know, we met one another... Probably, I was about 16. I was doing junior top sport and I interviewed him. And I remember him, they're all laughing and going, and I remember talking to him and I still said to my mom, I met the most gorgeous guy today. And I said, but he can't speak English. He goes, woof. And I remember telling my mom, I don't want... Hy kom van die plaas en die ek is Afrikaans, maar hy moet kan Engels. So it was like... And then we met at the time when he was at the height of his... probably over, you know, he had already won the World Cup and I was doing the lotto at the time and we met and I think it just happened instantaneously. We had a great energy and a great chemistry. I mean, you remember, Jeannie, we used to do functions with you and...
we did a holiday together.
Holidays together.
No, they were amazing. I mean, that's why it's the saddest thing for me, actually.
Is it hard to be a rugby player's wife, though? Is that one of the... Is it a struggle being somebody who's... dating someone you saw?
Well, there are certain sacrifices that you make, but there are, when you get married in life, there are sacrifices that you make when you get married anyway. So I think it comes with the territory, and in my work as well, you know, kind of, you know, you're away at night mostly because of shows that you do and over weekends. So you have to adapt, and then you have to make a plan with that. So I always say, if you love someone enough, even if you don't necessarily like what they do, the support that you give to someone for loving that person means much more, the support by giving that. So we lived through it and we had it, and it was fantastic. Of course, I had goosebumps, you know, watching him play.
Well, I'm guessing you're not watching the rugby this afternoon.
I am. I'm watching with you.
Are you watching?
Yes, you're watching
I'm
with
having
us.
a braai.
We're going to be watching. We're having a braai. We're watching the rugby this afternoon.
Yeah.
I hope you're going to be watching, and I hope you're certainly going to be enjoying the game as well.
Yes.
We're going to be doing it after Brightface. Now, make sure you join us for Afternoon Express tomorrow, because in the first 15 minutes, we're chatting to Aggie from 7-Eleven. I swear, we've had everyone from 7-Eleven here. And in the kitchen, we're making roasted onion falafels. Until then, ciao. Have a wonderful day and happy eating.
Happy rugby.
Cheers. This is good, eh?
This is amazing.
Coming up tomorrow on Afternoon Express, we explore fashion for the fuller-figured woman with designer Omar Teba, and 7-Eleven's Aggie joins us on the couch.
Another feel-good production.